Today's illustration is going to be on this paper that the wonderful Chantal from Darkest Raven Design has sent me again. She has sent me some wonderful array of paper, and I am going to be testing this one out. This one is a Clairefontaine mixed media one. It's 250 GSM, and yeah, I am going to do today's illustration on this piece and see how it goes. So this illustration was quite a creepy one to create, because when it involves anything that I dream about, it gets a little bit like, oh my god, I'm reliving the nightmare that I had because I have spoke about this in past videos, but I have some really weird dreams, and some of them are horrible, absolutely horrible. I have mini horror movies in my head and most of them I will put out on paper and I will draw them, but some of them I won't because there's something that I cannot display to the world because they're just too horrible, and I wake up just thinking, oh my god, what the hell did I just dream? So yeah, like I have said again in that same video, a lot of the drawings that I do draw are taken inspiration from dreams, or they are my dreams. Sometimes I don't talk about it, like in the piece, like in the video that I do, because it's not like a proper, like it's not the actual dream itself. It's just like I just take in elements, and it's just a lot of it's just not worth talking about. I just come up with a story or for the illustration, but this one I had to create. And I had to, create it in its entirety, and it's, oh my god. It's one of those ones that happened quickly, and it was over and done with, and I just woke up, was just like, oh my god, what? So what actually happened was I was sitting it was like a clearing of a forest, and I knew that I had done something bad. And this being like a fairy was turning me into a doll, and to be a doll forever, to be cursed because I had done something really bad. What it was, I don't know, but I just knew within myself, and I knew this feeling that I had done something. So this thing turned me into a doll, and I watched myself from the actual, perspective of first person. I watched myself glaze over parts of my body into a doll, and I reached out with my arm to be like, no, please don't do this to me, and then watched my whole arm go and then crack over, and then that was the dream. So yeah, that's what it was. And in this piece I do draw like this really hideous looking arm. That's obviously not what I saw in my dream. It was just my own arm in that, but I really wanted to portray the ugliness that was in this dream, and the horrible sort of feeling that I got, because I'd obviously been a bad person. I was bad in this dream, and to get across that this doll was encasing over the person, like me, that this thing that was underneath this doll was ugly as hell, and this person was a horrible person, and it was being portrayed as me, like it was me, and yeah, it was very, very startling, and to wake up and be all like, oh my God, thank God that was a dream, because I did not want to be frozen in a doll casing like that forever. That was an extremely horrible feeling. Yeah, that's why I really decided to really go into this piece and really talk about it, because it did sort of leave a little bit of an impression on me. And with the face that I did, like, I really rubbed out this face a lot, because I couldn't sort of work out what I wanted to do, and I tried to do half a monster, half the doll, but it wasn't working for me. So what I ended up doing in the end, as you can see now, is I sort of went away, because I was struggling a bit with the piece, and I reworked it in my own time, and I decided to do mainly the doll face, and then just have a little bit at the top, so you sort of really can't sort of see what this monster is underneath. Just a little bit on the forehead where you can see some of the hideous, ugly thing coming through, and sort of just left it mainly as the whole doll itself. Now, in the dream, I can't remember exactly what the clothes were. That was sort of like a very hazy aspect of the dream. But what I decided to do to sort of really, really make the nightmare real is I really wanted to make this thing like a doll that I know for a fact that I would not want to look like and would not want to be encased in forever. So I did this doll in a puffy dress that was pink, because I hate pink, and I also made the doll blonde. So I would hate to be encapsulated in a doll casing that looked like this. But what I did too is I sort of added a few little creepy elements to the doll, just to sort of add that creepiness to it, because it is a creepy sort of scenario and situation. And I gave the hair on one side a very I was sort of like channeling Cynthia vibes from the Rugrats and Angelica's doll. That's what it really reminded me of. That was not intended, but as I started to draw this thing, I started to give it this hair, and then the other side of the hair is sort of blending into like vines and that. So I sort of gave the doll half Cynthia hair and half just this wavy vine hair that's merging into vines, and that was the whole idea behind it. I also had another idea of how the piece is like that. Like, wouldn't it be horrible if there was only little bits of you sticking out, like you weren't fully encased in the doll, so the arm and a bit of the leg and the head is the only parts that are like coming out, and you can only imagine like the pain that you would feel in your arm of it constantly being stretched out like that, and you couldn't do a single thing about it because you couldn't move it down because the joint up in the doll casing had frozen like that. Oh, there's a lot of things that run through my head with this piece as I was painting it. Just absolute pure torture of what this thing had done. And I'm not going to call it like me, even though it was me that had the dream. It was more of, I don't know, the feeling was not that I had personally done it, but I was looking from a first person perspective, of this thing that had done something completely horrible. But yeah, I did feel everything because I was this thing for the duration of the dream, and I was experiencing what this thing was going through. So this dream kind of left me a little bit speechless, I suppose, with a lot of things in that respect, because of the feelings. Because a lot of the dreams, I really go on feelings, and some dreams that I do have really stick with me for the whole day. Some of them even stick with me for 2-3 days after I have them, depending on how brutal they are, or how the feeling was that I get with a particular dream. The feeling can linger with me for a while, and sometimes I try to sort of think, what's going on, and why have I had this dream? Like, what is this dream trying to tell me about an aspect of myself, or something that I have experienced in waking life? Maybe, I don't know. Like, I do try to delve into dreams a little bit, but yeah, there's so many different opinions on it. It's really, really hard. But probably the biggest thing that I have followed with a lot of my dreams is to take away the feeling that you get is mainly the key to understanding why you had that dream. So this illustration, I don't know, I'm sort of a little bit, once again, on the fence with it. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of elements that I could have done a little bit better. Like, I'm not really good at doing vines and doing plants, and that's probably something I should work on. But yeah, to sort of have it merging into her hair was a little bit hard, and I think my translation of that got a little bit lost. But overall, I think my favorite element of this piece is the actual doll itself. And yeah, I just don't know if a few of the elements that I've put on this piece work together, like the mushrooms that I put into the foreground. I don't know, I was feeling that, but what I mainly wanted to do was give like a really dreamy aspect. So when I start doing the background up, I do this dark edging around it, just to give a really sort of it is a dream type element to it. But I don't know, it just doesn't work in certain sort of elements. It's a little bit too much. And then what I then try to do is go in and fix it. Because this is the biggest thing with me, like if I start to sort of dislike something, I will then go into panic mode and think, well, I can just try and fix this by doing this, and then I kind of make it worse, and then I try and fix it some more. So what I do here is I try to portray the dream element to it, but then I go in with a my white Posca pen, and then just start dabbing white dots everywhere, all over the piece, to try and give some sort of I don't know, what do you call it, some sort of mystical element, like it's kind of like snowing, or there's elements, particles off the vines of her hair flowing through. And yeah, that's basically what happened with this piece. So yeah, there's elements of this piece I like, and then there's elements of this piece I don't like, and I don't think a lot of it worked well together. But yeah, it happened, and there it is. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this illustration of my weird and wonderful dreams that I have, and leave an impression on me. So yeah, that's it from me today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.